afternoon. This is Jim Lakey with news and announcements for Maxville and St. John on Cable Channel 3. And also sandyland.org, sandylandcenter.org, our website. Today is Monday. It's March 2 already, a new month. Today we're watching in the square now is cloudy and 26. And today will be cloudy all day, and the high will be 38, which is a big improvement over the weekend, and the low 30. Then Tuesday, sunny and 47 the high, and 19 for the low, so it gets more in both directions. Then on Wednesday, cloudy, 31 the high and 12 the low. And then it will start to warm up. Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, all sunny. 36 the high on Thursday and 15 the low. But Friday, 48 the high and 24 the low, and then best of all, Saturday will be sunny and 53 for the high and 26 for the low. So if you're out there listening today and you survived all of the bad things on the weekend, this coming week looks like it will be considerably better. We have no birthdays or anniversaries for today, but for Tuesday, happy birthday to Sheila Fisher. We hope you enjoy your birthday, Sheila. Well, we have a whole assortment of announcements. One is that the St. John Hudson Ministers Association is having a service called the Lenten Breakfast. And these are Wednesdays at 7 o'clock in the morning at the First United Methodist Church. And if you've been in town for a while, we have been doing this for years. So for all of you people, if you have survived the terrible weather on the weekend, think about coming out and giving thanks to God for the better weather that we're having now coming up for this week at the Lenten Breakfast. And one of the ministers will have a brief meditation, but the hymn singing is fun, and then you have interesting breakfast. Then, for things happening, the Recreation Commission is being optimistic by having spring in the air. On March 19th, they're going to Pleasant View, and they're going to have lunch at the Dutch Kitchen and shopping at Stutzman's and Glenn's Bulk Food. And they leave at 10:30, come back by 3:30. And the cost for the trip is $7. Then the city has several announcements, but the most crucial one for people to pay attention to, I think, is the Candidates Forum that the Goodman Library is having on March 25th. And so there are forms at the library that you can fill out to ask questions of the different candidates. And the Board of Education candidates will be at 7 o'clock, and then the City Council candidates at 8 o'clock. And again, that's March 25th at the Goodman Library. Now the city has 4 announcements for different opportunities for a contract or for a job with the city. And this first one has been out there, and they're going to close it out. And this is bids for sheep grazing at the sewer pond pastures. And so the lease agreement is available at the city office, but bids are only open, they're closing soon on March 3rd. So watch out if you want to do that. Make sure you get your application in right away. The other announcements are for a much longer period of time. So they're accepting applications for swimming pool manager for this season, and applications and job descriptions are available at City Hall. They'll be accepted until 5 o'clock March 17th. Another one that will close out on March 17th, City of St. John is accepting bids for mowing and trimming of property that is in violation of the city code. Bid information is at the city office. The city reserves the right to reject any and all bids. Bids close at 5 o'clock on March 17th. Again, just like the previous one. And this one, it stays open. The City of St. John is accepting application for seasonal part-time help for the 2015 summer. Duties will be mowing and trimming city properties, but not limited to these. Must be 17 to apply. Applications are available at City Hall and will be accepted until the position is filled. And City Hall number in all these cases is 549-3208. And so this one will stay open until they hire somebody. And that's all the news and announcements for you. We regret that we haven't received the menus for the fellowship meals in Maxville or St. John yet. And so you'll have to tune in maybe on Wednesday to find out what those are for the week. I would check also the community bulletin board, because as soon as we know what they are, they will get put on the community bulletin board that you can check. All right, well, the word of the day is this. The trouble with work is it's so daily. This is Jim Lakey, hoping you have a great week and survive the bad weather on the weekend. Stay tuned for a little story that tells you about God's story.
This is your story.
This is your story.
This is your story.
This is my story.
This is my story.
This is my story.
But most of all,
this is the greatest story ever told.
this is God's story.
This is God's story.
This is God's story.
I know you're going to enjoy the incredible journey you're about to embark on. The story is brimming over with tales of mystery, intrigue, adventure, of love, heartbreak, and triumph, of power, of struggle, and finally, of redemption. But remember, the Bible is not 100 ancient, unrelated paintings, but a mural all knitted together to tell the story of God's great love for us and the extent to which He will go to get us back. I know you're really going to enjoy and appreciate this wonderful experience as you fully explore how we all fit into the greatest story ever told, God's story.
This is God's story.
This is God's story.
This is God's story.
I'm Ray Davidson, pastor of First Southern Baptist Church here in St. John on the corner of 2nd and Exchange. We would like to invite you to come and join with us as we look at God's story, the story of God's interaction with man. We'll begin on September the 7th at 9:30 a.m. with a worship service, followed by at 10:30 with Sunday school. This is a study for everyone in the family. All of the children, young people, adults will be studying the same lesson so that we can talk about it at home as we go through the week. We invite you again to come and join us on this 31-week study of God's story and man's story.